What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 6 match of the UPBA, taking on our good friend MagicBlades and the Houston Tynamo. This is on the wrong side. Is there a way for me to switch sides? I guess there's not a way for me to switch sides. I thought there was a button that would let you switch sides. I don't know why it's from Magic's perspective when I was learning to upload the replay. This is fine. We'll just go with it this way. So, as you can see, we are bringing Kieran Black, Crobat, Registeel, Piloswine, Mimikyu, and Infernape. If you don't know what I'm bringing, I would go check out the team builder real quick. But we are bringing a specially offensive 2-attack Kieran Black. We are bringing a physically defensive Crobat. We're bringing a specially defensive Registeel. We're bringing a fairly standard physically offensive Piloswine. We are bringing a Z-Splash Mimikyu, and we are bringing Banded Infernape. Running through Magic's team real quick, he has Mew, Sylveon, Meloetta, Donphan, Noivern, Girder, Heatran, Electros, Araquanid, Shaman, and Mega Beedrill. His Super Saiyan Z user is Mew. His two offensive Z users are Electros and Meloetta. So in team preview here, we see that he's got Meloetta, Araquanid, Sylveon, Girder, Donphan, and Shaman. Some of the bigger threats I was expecting he did not bring, and he did end up bringing Girder and Araquanid, both of which I was not expecting to see. I'm happy not to see the Mega Beedrill. I'm really happy to not see the Heatran. I wasn't actually expecting to see Meloetta, to be completely honest, but we do see the Meloetta. I noticed that I've under-prepped for Araquanid completely. There's no Mew there either, so the only possible Z-move user on his team that he brought is Meloetta. I'm expecting Shaman to be like a Scarf variant to outspeed things like Infernape, potentially like Heliolisk. It'll definitely outspeed things like Kieran Black. Scarf Shaman is really good against Suicune as well with Seed Flares. Girder's obviously going to have the Eviolite, otherwise it's completely garbage. I'm expecting Donphan to be like a physically defensive variant because I have some really good physical threats on my team, and I think it loses to Kieran Black 1v1 regardless. I'm expecting Sylveon to be like a Choice Specs variant, to be completely honest. What else? Oh, actually I should mark these off, which is what he's brought. Green, green, and green, yeah. Oh, that's blue, that's not green. I don't know what to think about the Araquanid. I think like Splash Plate's kind of a neat idea, or like Mystic Water would be kind of neat just so he can change up moves. Obviously that thing hits really hard with Water Bubble Liquidation, so I have to watch out for that. To note, the priority he has on he brought a lot of priority. The only priority he didn't bring was Mew with Fake Out or Vacuum Wave. He could have Sylveon with Quick Attack, Meloetta with Quick Attack, Donphan with Ice Shard, Girder with Mach Punch, or Shaman with Quick Attack. The only hazards he brought was Donphan with Stealth Rocks, and the only hazard removal he brought was Donphan with Rapid Spin. He did not bring either of his 4x weaknesses. So yeah, going into this, I was thinking that Crobat was kind of going to be my dedicated lead anyways, and if he leads like Donphan or something, I can U-turn out on that. He still would have no reason to believe that I'm Black Sludge and physically defensive rather than Choice Scarfed, or sorry, Choice Scarfed, or I wouldn't think Choice Scarfed, but Choice Banded Crobat, for example. Like, no reason to believe that I'm running 0 speed, which is what I'm running, and it's no speed investment. So we're just gonna, I'm actually gonna do this slow, but we're just gonna pop it off here real quick. And he does lead the Araquanid, which I thought was really strange, but because I led the Crobat, I threatened him out turn 1 with like a potential Brave Bird. Obviously we're not running Brave Bird, but I can get a free. What do I go for here? I think I just go for U-turn because I threatened him out, and I'm going to, and he's going to go into Donphan, so I get good momentum off here, and I also break the sturdy of the Donphan. And I'm just going to go into Kieran Black here, which I know beats it 1v1. And he's going to double out into Sylveon on my substitute. I'm just going to click substitute here because I figured it was kind of free on the Donphan there. Substitute was actually probably the worst play I could have made with both Hyper Voice users on his team. Just because they're going to go through it. I figured the Donphan might stay in and like set up rocks or something, and so that's where my sub would come in. I should have just clicked Ice Beam there, but that's okay because now that he's got Sylveon in, I'm just going to switch out to my Registeel, which is my specially defensive wall, and eat this Hyper Voice up. From that damage we see that it is not Choice Specs, and I'm just going to stay in here and click Toxic. As he goes out into Araquanid, which is going to do a number to my Registeel. Sorry, I clicked Stealth Rocks first because it was a free turn to get up rocks, which is really good. Now I'm going to click Toxic on the Arachnid because I have no idea what this thing is going to do. And he clicks Liquidation, and that does a stupid amount of damage. I know we're specially defensive, but Registeel has a base 150 defense stat, and that did a lot of damage. So through my calculating, I found this was Choice Banded Arachnid, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I have legitimately 0 switch-ins to Choice Banded Arachnid on my team. Physically defensive Crobat takes 80% from 1, and I don't have Bravebird to kill it the next turn. Is it worth the bluff? In my mind, it wasn't. So, yeah. So I'm going to click Rest here so that I can install some Toxic Turns out on the Arachnid, maybe get it low enough for me to kill it with something a little bit later. And he's just going to keep clicking Liquidation. I guess technically we're PP stalling the Liquidation too. I'm not... He got a really low roll on the first one, by the way. He got actually like the second lowest roll, so that 68.7 isn't ridiculous. That's just a mid-roll on the Liquidation. That wasn't like a crit or anything like that. And we are going to sack off Registeel here to the Arachnid, but we're going to get a ton of toxic damage, toxic chip off on this thing. At this point, I was considering... I had 2 switch-ins, essentially. Kieran Black can't touch this thing because I'm not running Fusion Bolt. Not that he knows that, but I know that. Pilliswine Rock Slide does not kill from this range, and I couldn't take a Liquidation. A Banded Liquidation killed me through a Violite. Crobat obviously can't touch this thing, so it was down to Mimikyu or Infernape. Infernape was running Banded Thunder Punch, but once I lock myself into Thunder Punch, Donphan can come in and gets up rocks for free or gets a Rapid Spin off for free, which I did not want. I needed these rocks to stay up to chip down his team, so I am just going to go into my Mimikyu here, fully realizing that I'm giving up my disguise here, and I'm going to click the Z Splash. He actually does switch out into the Donphan, because I guess that's his defensive check. So I click the Z Splash and we get to +3 attack. And at this point, as long as I hit my player offs, which should be good, don't do enough to the Donphan. He was physically defensive, and he will break my disguise with Earthquake, but Shadow Sneak can pick this thing off just in case he wanted to go for an Ice Shard. I do out-prioritize that, and so I'll stay at full health. He's then going to go out into Meloetta here. We do outspeed the Meloetta by 1 point. We're outspeeding Meloetta Aria form by 1 point because that thing is base 95 and we're base 96, so I'm going to go for the player off here. And we do get a crit, which did matter overall. The roll was in my favor, but the crit did matter. Now he's going to go into Shaman here. Shaman's going to naturally outspeed me, so I have no idea what this thing is. Seed Flare's not going to kill me, though, unless he specs, and he does get the Spit F drop, which doesn't matter. Player of crit, again, mattered on the Shaman based on his HP stat, so those crits are kind of unfortunate. Sylveon here is going to die to a player off after rocks. The next thing that's going to come in is the Girder, I believe, which dies to a player off at +3 always, doesn't even need the rocks chip, so as long as I hit that. And next up is Arachnid, which is really low and is going to take rocks damage, which will die to a Shadow Claw at 39%. It dies to a Shadow Claw for sure. It actually died to a Shadow Sneak from that range, but I wasn't confident that he wasn't earning any defensive investment, so I wanted to go with the safe play. So we do pick up the win, another 5-0 win against Magic. I really was not confident going into this match, and I'm kind of surprised and proud of myself that I picked this win up because Magic was like doing really well in his division, and picking up this win means we bring ourselves closer into the playoff race in our own conference. We had a really rough start to the season going 1-3, but we're starting to pick it up now at 3-3, so I'm happy about our performance. I'm really happy about Mimikyu. I think with those 6 kills, Mimikyu moves itself into a tie with Meloetta in first in kills, I think. It's either a tie with Meloetta, or it's leading the league now in kills after this match. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that I love using Mimikyu, and I'm going to continue to draft it. That's pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, guys. Pretty quick match today. Again, GG's to Magic. It was a really good match, and yeah, so I guess I'll see you guys for our Week 7 match, where we are taking on the Adelaide Redrax and Bionic Soup. We do have this match already scheduled, should be played in about 4 days. I have my prep done and all that. No, I don't. I don't have my prep done, which I will get done tonight, I guess. Yeah. News on the PCL. My opponent, Emerald Sands, did forfeit this week. I will not be uploading the team builder because I don't want to leak my secrets, and that's basically the idea with that. So we moved to 2-0 plus 8 in the PCL because of our 3-0 forfeit win. Yeah, I'm not going to be uploading the team builder because there's no battle video to go up beside it, and I also don't want to like leak my sets necessarily for the team that I was bringing, because potentially I could just be bringing the exact same thing. Next week, PCL, we do play Cade and the Santa Monica Manaphes in Week 3, so keep an eye open for that. And yeah, I will catch you guys for Week 7 of the UPBA against Bionic Soup and the Adelaide Redrax.